Hey, what is up, everybody? Camera is working so far. We'll see how long that lasts. Um, yeah, what's up, Pudgy, Large Marge, Dennis, William, Dylan, Jay Dandy. Hey, Black Ball, Chris in Toronto. I was just looking at Black Ball's drink of choice for tonight, which is a Rush Canadian Golden Ale. I was trying to figure this out. Is this a beer named after Rush, or is the brewery named Rush? Because I don't see a separate brewery name on there. I actually, Chris was saying he doesn't mind Rush. I can't stand growing up. My brother listened to Rush all the time when he had to drive me places, and it absolutely made me hate Rush. But Pudgy was drinking a Tropical Truth. Yeah, I really like Tropical Truth. A lot of Flying Dog beers that I've liked over the years. And Tony's got a New Glarus Brewing Spotted Cow. I think I brought this up before, but I got a really, really good beer when I was out that way from New Glarus that I brought home a bomber, a 22-ounce bottle that I absolutely loved. I think the bottle's still sitting on top of my fridge with a couple other cool looking bottles that I just saved over the years, but I can't remember exactly what it was. Dennis said he just toured through Cleveland last week and met some sweet people. Oh, awesome. Hey, what's up, Rick? Oh, Dennis said he met a lot of good people that fed him a lot of good beer while he was touring through. Did you guys go out to any places in Cleveland or just drinking at people's houses and stuff? How, and let me know. I think um, my audio levels have all been messed with because I actually had to use this for video work all week and recording some YouTube videos. So I should mark down when I get the audio dialed and you guys say it's good. I should look at what I have the recorder set at and what I have the software set at. That would make sense, but I have not done that yet. I guess it wouldn't matter. I ordered a boom mic stand so I could clip it on the record. For those of you who haven't seen the behind the scenes over here, it's an old bar a friend gave me. So I actually am gonna have a boom mic up here that I could move around eventually. It's on back order like everything else in the world. So, but it's a nice one from Rode. It's supposed to be completely silent with cable management. So the mic will run into this recorder, but I won't use the mics on this recorder anymore. I'll actually use a better audio mic. And I was thinking after the new year of maybe even investing in a better mic for doing this, but the boom arm will be a start to get a mic where I need it to be, especially when we have two people on and we do the bike, talk about people's bikes on the stand. Anyways, yeah. Oh, Blackball said the Rush beer is made by Henderson Brewing, mere steps away from his place. You said that in the description. Then I zoomed into the picture and forgot instantly. Rick saying hi to Stream Elements. Let's see. There are also some bike pics from the last few days. I don't know if I don't know if Baron's in here tonight, but he did said he went car camping with a buddy, and he's got the Kona and the Bianchi, and I guess his friend borrowed the one bike and then was talking about how he needed to get a bike. We've had that happen in our experience a lot too, where someone borrows a bike and then it's like, oh, I need a bike or I need a better bike once they ride something else. I was looking at Jay Dandy's bike as well, his Gary Fisher. I know he's working on getting that dialed in. That's I really like that. That bike is so sharp. Or you're saying you need a dent. It's dialed in, but you need to dial in the fenders a little more. You're getting a little rub on those, maybe. And then Gary, all zoomed in there, is Mozzie. I was looking at this and I couldn't remember earlier when he posted this. Where is the shifting taking place on this bike? I'm like, this has got to be obvious, but how am I missing it? I'm not seeing where the levers would be, but the cables are running up there, right? I feel like an idiot not being able to figure this out when I was looking at it earlier. Lanky said, "Hey, what's up, Lanky? Wasn't going to show up, but need to make sure Tim's not talking too much shit about him." Yeah, so me and Lanky rode. Well, it was just yesterday morning. At met him out in Peninsula, and for those of you who weren't here a while ago, EF wore these kits that this cap is designed like during the Giro last year because they wear pink and the leader of the Giro wears pink, so they change up their kit that they have the last few years. And I ordered this hat and FedEx lost it in shipping. So I went on Rafa. They said they'd refund it, but that the item was sold out. So I went to see if anyone else was selling it. It was on eBay for like 90 to like $120 already. And Lanky Googled it. It said Rafa had one. And we're thinking the coincidence is FedEx probably returned this at some point, and there's a chance this is the hat I ordered because Lanky snagged the last one. But when I met him to go riding, he actually gave it to me. So it's, I was so happy. Like, I'm sure it showed through, Lanky, that I was smiling like crazy. I am really happy about it. It's so sweet. And I just thought I'm never going to spend $90 to get one of these things, you know. But oh, Rick's asking about the lights. How you said the light. It is how Pudgy. So Rick, I usually use the 16 to 35 Canon L EF f2.8. And today, just because I was using that lens, I shot a wedding on Friday. I took it with me as a backup, and the camera I film on I took as a backup. I can't remember why, but I put my 35 millimeter Sigma f1.4 on tonight. So yeah, it's a much sharper lens, and I think I have it stopped down to 2.2. But yeah, it just has a much better, as everyone calls it, bokeh. But the background out of focus character is much better with this lens than that Canon by far. And this is also a much sharper lens, which I'm guessing probably for doing something like live streaming translates better because you're losing so much quality through the stream and everything that having a sharper lens up front and a better out of, you know, more separation probably looks pretty good. I thought it looked noticeable too, and I was going to ask if anyone noticed. So it's kind of cool you did, Rick. So, of course, you're a photographer, so you would. Dylan would probably be the other one I would guess might notice that it looks different. Hey, what's up, Happy Trails? Oh, the brakes move in? Oh, is this that Shimano group set that has the then thumb levers on the inside like Campy does? Or is it a Campy group set? That would make sense if it's a Campy group set, and I'm just thinking Shimano and SRAM. Going back to, sorry, I'm all over the place already, and we just started, and I've only had one beer. Going back to this bike, but I need to take deep breaths. The chat always throws me. I always go to whatever's in the chat. And then, yeah, Pudgy with his highlighted text said, Lanky better have a cool hat for me. Cap. Yeah. When he comes that way, he's going to punch him right in the baby maker. And then, like you said, he doesn't want any more kids, so he's okay with that. Did I can't. So, like you said, cap or casquette. And I think I told this story, but when we were riding the last bike party, a a woman who was riding by me and Ben and I think Ryan Hugh asked what we call our small hats, And we said caps, and I was like, or if you want to be more French sounding, casquette. And she was like, oh, I figured there'd be like a cute French type name for it. But when I was in France, a guy said he liked my casquette, and that a waiter, and then the other waiter was like, you don't say casquette, that means coffin in America. And I was like, no, as a cyclist, we used casquette, the French too, but it was kind of this weird off moment with these two guys between the English and the French, and the one guy was right, the other guy was trying to be more right in English, whatever. So, oh, Lanky and Pudgy said old Sora had it on the shifters. Again, all over the place. Can't keep. Yep, we did talk about that, and I never knew that. I think don't Lanky, don't you have the bike on your trainer, right? That has these shifters, and I was confused by them because I'd never realized Shimano had made shifters that had that kind of campy style of shifting. Dylan's talking about the lens, and he said I assume, yeah, unless he's talking about mountain biking, but edge fall off is pretty much non-existent. Yeah, I could, is this one? Let's see which way. Show it at 1.4, but this is the Sigma Art 1.4, and this lens lived on my Canon 5D when I had it. I used it for everything. I just really love the character of this lens, and the colors are really great too for photography. Not a good, it's fine for something like this, but it's not a good video lens in general because the servo motors are quiet, but not quiet enough. Not quite smooth enough. Not like a modern mirrorless lens would be. Oh, Lanky did. Yeah, his Le Mans. Yeah, that's right. Oh, and then on the shifting. So yeah, Lanky said his Le Mans had it, and then Pudgy said the one he gave Aaron. Yeah, she's taken that to the shop. Actually, she ordered a Aaron ordered a what do you call it? A bar end for the front ring because her wrists are bad, and so she'll have that other lever on the other side. So, but yeah, she's trying to get that built up with the stuff you gave her, Pudgy. Oh, there's Gary. What's up? I likes to thumb things. Yeah, so I need to finish up, and I think that's going to be one of the winter stream projects. Speaking, like you were saying about the thumb shifters, Campy does it better. So the look that we worked on the stream a number of times last winter, it wasn't a priority for me this summer or even spring because I just haven't been riding like the road bikes at all. Like the aggressive road bikes, which the look I'm going to build, there's no reason not to make it an aggressive road bike. It's like the stiffest vintage carbon bike you could get and has those old Mavic wheels on it. But yeah, I want to finish that up, but that's the only bike I have with Campy on it. I think all the boxes for that stuff are behind me. But yeah, so I'll be interested to try that kind of shifting. I remember Otis was saying when he was on or I think it was either Otis or Yonda were on the stream helping me with that bike, and they were talking about it's nice because you could shift multiple gears in each way, which SRAM and Shimano you can only shift more than one gear. What into? I need to be on my into the easier gears. Yeah, so. Yeah, Pudgy. Aaron's old shifters do have the cables going out the side because it's 9 speed Ultegra, and they still have the shift cables coming out the front. I keep pointing to a bike. I have my Barry Homan with 9 speed 105 on it, and on the stand right here next to me. So that's why I keep looking that way. But yeah, those have the out the front or out the side and not under the bar tape kind of cables too, which I never minded until I wanted to put bigger front bags on, like my Zeitgeist, and I can't do that with the old 9-speed. More importantly, on my Trek 500, which rides really bad with a lot of weight on the back, it gets really shaky in the front. So I was also hoping I said I invested in that Kickstarter for Jack the Rack, that might work with those cables. I might be able to put them around even if I have to run them a little longer. So that might be a workaround for that. But I think I lost connection for a second. Let me know. I think we're back. Yeah, it wasn't the camera. It's it was actually the software came disconnected. Yeah, I'm on a delay, so someone just when you could, I'm gonna ramble until you could hear me again. But I think we're back up. Good now. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, it was OBS, the software for some reason. I think Rick. Did Rick ask if this lens was AF? I thought I read that somewhere, but it is. It's Sigma's art. They still make quality. Maybe it's in manual. I might have put it in. No, it's not a manual. I don't know why it's not attempting to refocus because yeah, it's staying on my face. No idea. Good. The stream's good. Oh, Chris was asking what this shirt is. So basically it's a ride across the state of Ohio, and the gist of the shirt is the way down is not that bad. The way back feels like, oh, I guess that's over here. I'm looking in reverse. Feels like it takes forever. The funny thing about this shirt is there's been some people who've commented like, oh, I've done that ride, because I actually haven't. An ex-girlfriend like 15 years ago saw this at the thrift store and just thought it looked cool and bought it for me. She was like, look at this cool like shirt from a cycling event. So yeah, totally random, but oh, Pudgy was saying the Claris 8 speeds still have the thummies. I'm wondering. I'm wondering if is that. I wonder why. I wonder why they would make part of their lineup have that and not. It must. I mean, the only thing you could think is that it's a cheaper way to make a lever, but you got to think by the time they've been making, Shimano has been making their STIs for so long that having everything the same would make it cheaper. And like, just like how with Ultegra and Dura-Ace, they're just switching out some of the parts for, less expensive parts, heavier parts in the case of Dura-Ace versus Ultegra. That's what it would be. But yeah. Tim only wears map shirts. Yeah. That's something I should search. Like, how many good map shirts are out there? I don't. Yeah, I had this on because I was doing a portrait shoot at Earthquaker Devices today, the pedal company. And I thought we were going to be inside. And every time I'm there, people tend to mask up. And they actually worked from home, even manufacturing the pedals for a long time. We ended up doing the portrait shoot outside, though, so it wasn't a big deal. Pudgy guessing on the thumb shifters for Shimano. 8-speed might be too much to throw in the release direction. Or maybe keep it simple for entry-level riders. Lanky, with your, and again, if I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, Sentoir. That's not French, but how many speeds is yours? Because I believe when we had mine at the stand, it was Otis who was pushing the lever and showing me the cool thing was how many gears you could shift in each direction. So I wonder if I can't remember. I've watched your videos on your Dosi, but I can't remember how many. I wonder if they're different generations. That's the front array there. Let's see. This is by the way, this is 10 speed, an 11 to 23 cassette. I put the guy who gave Stu, my friend Stu, traded me this for some photography work he's actually never cashed in on. He gave me 2 cassettes, and one's even, I think the one on there is even smaller than the 11 to 23. But oh, Lanky's, yours is actually 11 speed and it doesn't do it. Yeah. It's funny too to call like Centaur. Pudgy just told me that it's pronounced like the mythical animal person, and in my mind I can't remember how you would pronounce that anyways. So entry level, yeah. But it's from everything I've read, like Campy entry level is coming in still at like 105, right? So they don't really make a low level group set. Like even their Campy's entry level is, mid range, and the other group sets line up from what I understand. So, and from examining the components too, like even in this 10 speed, they're pretty quality components. They're not like, Oh, Pudgy's saying it was later replaced with Daytona and Chorus. Well, are you sure, Pudgy? Because Chorus was around wasn't Chorus around in the 80s? Unless they just changed the naming scheme. Rick was saying he's done with paddle shifters. You know what? I have never, I mean, it makes sense that they're called that, but until Traveling Through's videos, if you guys have watched those, when he was stuck in Durango for 6 days, and he's calling them paddle shifters, I've always heard them either called just brifters or STI, which is Shimano's terminology. But yeah, but again, they are like paddles. But yeah, you're done with them. I've gone the opposite direction. When I built my first Neo Retro build, there you go, Pudgy, I said it, which I think was my Trek 500, yeah. And I had a bunch of people over to the studio on New Year's, a bunch of cycling friends and some other friends. And my one friend saw that bike sitting up there, and he was like, oh, you put some brifters on your bike? He was like, once you get used to those brifters, you're going to have an impossible time going back to your true vintage builds. And I haven't had an impossible time. Like, I'll still ride the Peugeot or the Viscount. But yeah, once I got used to when you don't have to take your hands off the bars, it's just so great. I was talking to Lanky when we were riding actually about this on like some hill climbs. I'm like, I think some of my old PRs are because you'd be climbing up a hill and you knew you needed to get into 1 or 2 easier gears, but you'd be afraid you'd miss it with the down tube friction shifter. So you just like really hammered it out in way too hard of a gear. But yeah, always being in the right gear. Like that's how I am with STIs. I'm just always in the right gear. And it depends on the bike. Like if I do go to ride my Peugeot, I'm probably not killing it anymore. But yeah, it's interesting to hear you say that. Yeah, Pudgy was saying top was record, then super record, and then chorus, and then center. I don't think they're the same. Doesn't Google have a pronunciation thing so I could hear it because I can't? Oh, there we go.
Centaur.
Centaur. Centaur. Well, in English it's centaur. I don't, which is a Greek word, but yeah. I don't know how the Italians would pronounce it.
Centaur.
I see there's a new drink pickup here. Oh. Centaur.
Centaur.
Centaur. They're saying centaur. Centaur. Yeah. Wait, I missed it. Oh, Lanky was saying, did I say that he was agreeing that like 105 would be centaur, about the same quality? I would guess even I don't know, it seems like lately, not even lately, probably always, except for they're like they kind of had a rough period in the early 80s, though, that anything campy would still be even a little higher quality because it's produced on even such a smaller scale. But were you guys able to hear that when it played out loud? I don't know. Centaur. He sounds like a map hater. I missed a largest comment about Tim is playing his own studio audience tonight. And Chris said, can't agree more with not wanting to lose time shifting on down tube shifters, just hammer it. Yeah. And that's what, when I ride my Viscount now, it's when I know I'm going to be on a pretty flat, like here we have the Freedom Trail out to Kent, and if take the Portage hiking bike out to Garrettsville. I've gone out on that bike a couple of times now riding that. It's like, if I'm just going to hammer it, it's kind of arrow. I'm just going to put it in the hardest gear when I get going or close to that and just, be doing it. I'm not bad at down tube shifting. I'm pretty good at it, but it's still like, if you could just keep your hands on the hoods and shift from right there, there's a reason that all road bikes and gravel bikes shift like that now. I mean, almost all of them. He sounds like a roadie trying to fake normal breathing while being fast. That voice definitely doesn't wave back. Yeah, speaking of roadies, yeah, me and Lanky, I thought we had a good time and a fun ride, but I rode out to Peninsula, which for me was a little over 10 miles, and then he showed me a few little gravel segments that I didn't know existed. Like he said, the problem with some of the valley ones is they don't really go anywhere because either the river has changed course and the valley walls, or they might have been old driveways or places that went to, because, the Cuyahoga Valley became a park in the 70s, so there used to be a bunch of houses and farms and properties and even factories where we were riding. So they could be some old drives or some old roads, or, you never know. He did show me some parts of old Riverview Road that I thought were really cool, and some stuff I had seen from across the river but had never ridden. And then we did a couple cool climbs and descents. One was actually on Fitzwater Road, which has nothing to do with my family name. It's just a coincidence. My family's not from the area, so it wouldn't have been named after us. But that was something I'd always wanted to check out. I knew that Fitzwater Road, I'd looked at it on Google Maps, went up and out of the valley, but I'd never tried it. And at the bottom is actually the Fitzwater Rail Yard, where the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad is based and the trains are. Yeah, did a couple cool climbs, even one that he hadn't done. And then we were both talking about how we'd looked at Google Maps after, or Strava after, and you could see that there were even more little roads around there that would be possible to ride on. So, yeah, I ended up with 61 miles. And after me and him rode around and had a fairly good day of climbing, I think I had about 2,000 feet. I rode home and had a headwind, but I'd been riding so good, I kind of tried to crush it on my way home. So I was pretty gassed when I got home yesterday. I also then, coming through the valley, I rode Akron Peninsula home, and then I had a couple more miles, and then I'd have to climb out of the valley back to Cuyahoga Falls, and I was going to just try and make it without eating, and I realized, there's no way. I actually looked at my hand. I was getting, I don't know if you guys ever get this when... Did I lose the... Oh, chat disconnected. Huh, weird. But I actually looked at my hand and it was like starting to shake when I took it off the bars, and I've had that before, right before I bonk. So I went into and it was Monday, so almost nothing was open, but there was one bar, and I walked in and it turned out I knew the bartender from a bar he used to work at in Highland Square, and it was one of those times where you sit there and you eat and you just feel like all the energy come back into your body. So Kivia asked what happened to my mustache. Yeah, I had a wedding to shoot on Friday, and the beard was getting so long that I was actually like getting food in it and stuff. And I'm like, I don't grow a beard because I like it. I grow a beard because I'm lazy. I hate shaving. So I was like, yeah, it's time to start over. So there'll be a beard again, I'm sure, in a month. But Obsolescence said he put friction shifters on the hooks and they're close to perfect. On the hooks. Oh, the hoods. That's a typo, probably. And that's what Dandy has, right? Don't you have those like kind of Gavinol style on your Gary Fisher? Is that what those are? Gavinol? I've only seen Pathless Pedal review them, but those could be. I mean, oh wait, I don't have it up there, dummy. Uh, you can't have these indexed as well, but I'm guessing this is what Obsolescence is saying he did with some friction shifters, right? Gavinol. Yeah, Gavinol. Yeah. Do you have those indexed, or do you shift those friction, J Dandy? Like I said, I don't. But then again, friction shifters on the hood are totally different than friction shifters on the down tube. I mean, not totally different, but you're still finding that gear right up there. And if it's rubbing a little bit, you don't need to reach down to readjust. And that's kind of one of the things sometimes, you'll shift a friction shifter on the down tube when you're putting in a really hard effort, and you could tell you didn't quite get there. And then if you're going to try and keep going for that effort, you're paranoid. Is it going to slip out of that gear when you're really pushing on the pedals? So you need to reach down and readjust. Either way, you're going to lose some, momentum doing either one of those two things. Like I said, I'm not anti. I've left two of the bikes. Two of the bikes are down tube, and my Roger Riviera is the kind where they're friction, but they're up on the top tube, which is a little easier. But the problem with how forward I ride is I'll actually bump my knees on them, and I've read that that's why they kind of went out of style in general. Aaron's World Sport actually has indexed Shimano shifting on the top tube, so right up there by the stem. Yeah. Jay Dandy said his are indexed but can't be friction. Yeah, so yours are like the style where you have that little switch, like all the old Shimano indexed ones had that too, where you just kind of flip it one way and then you could go back to indexed, or between indexed and friction. I know some people would keep the front one friction, or I think, or were they all still friction on the front rings back then? I can't remember. Obsolescence said on the inner hoods below the hoods. Huh. You need to post a picture of those. I don't think I've seen those on your bike. I also saw Obsolescence on Sunday. He was going in the other direction. We were riding down the bike path and just got the chance to be like, hey, like type thing. Pudgy was asking, should he sell the 86 Fat Chance at the swap meet? Huh. I'd be curious. I wonder if the prices at the swap meet we'll be at in Connecticut will be good. Will people be looking to bring stuff? Are people going to be riding it on bikes a lot? Hard to say. Yeah, see what Dylan's saying right there. Too risky at the swap meet. It's eBay solid gold. Nice. And then Lanky was saying I got us in trouble with the local homeowner. It was a team effort because we were riding or way out on the hiking bike, and pretty far north on the hiking bike. And Lanky was like, oh, there's this little cutoff here you could take that's kind of a cool off road that parallels the hike and bike. And we rode it, and then he realized this isn't the cut that he was thinking about, but it was still pretty rideable. So I just kind of kept going. It was kind of thick, tall grass, like those, how grass gets like clumpy. And we kept going, and then we were following like a gas line, and then that kind of ran out, and we were at the top of the woods, and then there was a driveway that was marked with some recent, you know, how they like paint like wooden stakes and put it in. So we kind of start following that, and then we get on a gravel driveway, and then all of a sudden a truck starts coming down the gravel driveway in the other direction, and I'm like, of course, you know, the timing. And the guy rolled down his window, and there wasn't even room for us to really pass him on the gravel drive. And right away, he was not happy. He was like, who gave you permission to be on this property? And in my mind, this is already turning into like a Lucas Brunel video. And and he was like, and we're like, I just, you know, we got lost, you know, did one of those playing dumb, which I mean, technically wasn't playing dumb. It was kind of true. We did kind of get lost. I mean, we knew where the trail was if we wanted to go back to it. I was like, we're just trying to get to the road. Our mistake. And he was like, oh, I've had a problem with a land developer. You could see they're putting in some new development, and he was frustrated with probably his situation with something else, and he actually mellowed out real quick. And we were like, yeah, we'll never be back here. It was just a mistake. But yeah, I felt like I haven't had an experience like that for a long time. Like I was telling Lanky when we were kids, we used to ride, you know, the metro parks and all the hiking trails because there was no mountain biking to do, you know, late teens, early 20s when I say kids now. But yeah, but felt like I haven't had to talk my way out of that many cycling situations for a long time. Oh, obsolescence, we're saying his are like the wing shifters pathless pedaled reviewed. Gotcha. I think you guys might be talking over my head. Oh, yeah. Wait. Let's pull up a photo. Do you have a photo of those, Pudgy? Oh, there it is. Got it. This guy? Dylan said it's amazing all the abandoned places in Akron are not a bust. Yeah, there's no one to patrol them. You know, it's like when you have a shrinking city, it's like, you know, urban exploration in Detroit, uh, especially on the outskirts now. There's it's not something that the police want to worry about if there's not a property owner who's mad about it. You know, the trains are the worst. You know, the trains will do something, but there's not. I mean, how often are the actual train, you know, people around? But do you guys follow what is it on YouTube? I think it's cycling. I'm thinking of these like older mountain bikes. Pull this up here. They just had this. I can't think of the name of this account. I guess I could go by history would make more sense. Cycling tips. Whoops. I didn't want to play it. I just wanted to find it. But I don't have the whole frame up there. But they just did this video. Our flat bar gravel bikes, just old mountain bikes. And it sounded like really clickbaity. but it wasn't. It was actually really interesting. That they got a old what was the bike? It was an old Cannondale flat bar, and they were just kind of comparing the differences, and it was like a real even-handed, interesting review of comparing like an old mountain bike to a modern flat bar gravel bike. Whoa, hit my mic. Hey, what's up, Robert? So Robert popping in. Yeah, Otis Roubaix on Sunday, and I had that on my list to bring up. I know Lanky mentioned he might try and make it for that. I'm gonna do it. Aaron's on the fence. I think Aaron's gonna ride it. I would assume Large is gonna do it, unless he's had enough of working with those guys all week. So yeah, it'll be fun. So it's the Otis Roubaix is a Dirty River ride, and he tries to do it once a year. Obviously, didn't do it last year. Usually does it in the spring. But, anyways, it's kind of like it's still like a group ride, like a no drop ride, but then he tries to find like all the gnarliest hills he can around Akron. And so, like, the hills are just like the challenge. So, if you feel like it, you race up the hills as fast as you can, and then you kind of wait up at the top to cheer for everybody else who's coming up, and then we all roll on to the next one. So yeah, it'll be a fun ride. I'm looking forward to it. I hope the weather holds out. So, oh yeah, Jay Dandy said he was probably going to come out to that. So, Large said he'll be party pacing. That'll probably be more of my attitude. I'm sure um, there'll be one or two segments that I might go for, but in general, I'm assuming I'll probably kind of chill. I think the last time we did the Otis Roubaix, I remember he did it actually on Tour of Flanders weekend because we watched it in the bar after on replay. It was the year Betty All won from EF, but I remember, yeah, I think I had done a huge ride the day before. So when people were really going for the hill climbs, I just didn't have it in my legs. Being a medium strength rider, I was still not the slowest guy out there, but yeah. Uh, yeah, Dylan was saying, is it people on road bikes? Mostly, well, that last time he had like the Everett Road climb on it and stuff like that, which are more gravelly climbs. I think you could pull it off on a road bike, but I think it's always riding around Akron is more comfortable on a gravel bike. So, but yeah, I don't think there's Large would know, but I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything on that route this year that you couldn't ride on a road bike, especially being in like the daytime and stuff like that. But it's a real mixed group, so it'll be you know Stacks, cannabis cyclist on Instagram will be out there. You know, he's a quick dude. Uh, yeah, it'll be a pretty good mix of like speeds. So Large said he's going for the fastest drink 10 beers KOM. Yeah, there's like I'm glad this year too Otis has posted some of the like more of the details because people need to know it is still a no drop ride. It's not a snail's pace no drop ride, but there is like you go up a hill, you kind of wait up, regroup, ride to the next one. So it's not like a fondo or anything like that either. So it's not a race, it's not a fondo. It's just like almost like a Strava segment challenge. Hey, what's up, stomach? It's at 10 a.m. at Dirty River, right? Large. Let me know if I'm wrong, but at 10 a.m. at Dirty River is what I believe. I could pull up the Facebook. Again, Pudgy, got two different conversations going on here. Um, on the cycling, back to Pudgy's point, on the cycling tips thing, that's what they said: wheel size, disc brakes. But the other thing they were saying about the old mountain bikes was you're way more over the front wheel, which for gravel riding, true gravel riding is fine. But when they were riding off road, the guy was finding, he was like, I feel like I'm going to go over my bars all the time when I actually mountain bike on an old mountain bike. He was an old mountain bike racer too, and he's like, how did we used to ride these things? So, but which is why old mountain bikes do make for good gravel bikes, because the obvious, difference. Hi, stomach. 10 a.m. on Sunday. Did I read that comment? Yeah, 10 a.m. on Sunday for the ride. Let's see. I'll drop a link in case you're on Facebook. I know a lot of you aren't anymore. Do they let you? Do they not let you just share a link? Oh, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, Dylan was saying the saddle to bar drop is like road bike crazy. And yeah, I even get that as if you guys watched, or I know some we've talked about it, but my Trek mountain bike that I put the Surly corner bars on, like that stem is so long, it's crazy. And yeah, I mean, you just see the drop is just from the saddle to the bars, even before I changed them out, is just such a different geometry. I don't. That's what they were kind of saying. What were bike designers thinking in that era, like going with that? But then they're also saying, well, we all rode them. We all rode them and rode them fast. So yeah, even on mine, there must be 10 inches of seat post exposed. Looking at it right now, sitting over there. Jay Dandy was saying he's not a great climber, but he likes a challenge. Yeah, and that's why it's fun. Just go for the ones you feel like. If you feel like going for it on the Otis Roubaix, you can, and if not, you can you know, just ride along. So, like Lars was saying, that's probably what he'll end up doing. Yeah, I don't know, Pudgy. Do you think I'd be interested in Nutmeg? What, there's going to be 500 people at Nutmeg? If that would be a good place to try and sell something, I don't know. I mean, I definitely get the idea that it would be like a Rivendell crust, and some people are. I did see a couple posts of people building up vintage like bikes into gravel bikes for the ride. Yeah. Jay Dane said the early mountain bikers were roadies, which is true. Yeah. I guess if you were used to that geometry and you switched, that would feel still a little more comfortable to be on a bike that had the same kind of trail as your road bike. It's just strange. Yeah. Pudgy says that Nutmeg, a lot of money will be coming through. So yeah, I guess Jay Dandy, it's like everything. Like stuff goes through those evolutions of getting away from whatever the original designer wanted to being more practical for everything. That's why gravel bikes existed, because cross bikes just didn't have the clearance. Everyone was racing gravel on cross bikes, but wanted wider tires. So that's where gravel bikes come from, right? Well, yeah, like Pudgy, if you're talking about going way back to like, the original mountain bikes, doing the cruisers and all that kind of stuff, and like the early mountain biking. But by the time they started to actually build them, right, they were pretty different from their modified beach cruisers. When you say that, my only knowledge of this is that documentary about early mountain biking and repack. What is the name of that? I can't think of a name. Who would have? Clunkers. Yeah, clunkers. Yeah. Who would think I would forget something? But yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. Lanky dropped these photos. He got his cassette on there too. Oh, did you change the pulley wheels at the same time, or did you already have those on the Bear Claw on the shifter? Derailleur. God damn. I don't know what's wrong with me tonight. I think you had a close up too, right? That looks cool. I love how little material there is on the inside. Oh, you had to change the whole cage to clear the 50 tooth. Yeah, that's right. The drivetrain is backwards. Yeah. I actually I traded for a cassette that I need to put on to. I would like to put on to my Raleigh before we go out to Nutmeg, because if I do the hard ride, it said I think 60 miles and 6,600 feet of climbing or something like that, and some of it was single track. So Pudgy gave me an 1132 or 1134, and I have an 1132 on there. But I think even just that little advantage of the 1134 would be a smart thing to have on that bike. And when I had it set up 9 speed, it used to have an 11 to 34 on there, and it's a noticeable difference. Surprisingly, I'm not a gear ratio expert by any means, but by feel, I knew I lost something when I went to the 32 when I switched to an 11-speed group set. The top pulley is tiny to clear the cassette. I need to see that. Oh, yeah. That's a better shot. Let me get this up here. Yeah, look at that. That's nuts. What are you running in the front on this? This TV I have that I use for my screen is only 720, so it's not very sharp. Dylan said he runs a 5228 on his full suspension. A pretty funny combination, but it's a heavy bike that isn't going fast up hills. Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah. Oh, Pudgy's got a 38 up there in the front. Okay. Oh, is that what? Did you have to? You had to zip tie your GRX there in the back too because you couldn't do the internal routing? You were saying you couldn't bend the hydraulic cables that far at the angle it came out, I believe. Why would anyone do the hard route on a single speed? On a single speed straggler? Oh, that's nuts. That lens makes me sound stupid. I'm trying to make up for my looks, you know. It's like a oh, you did the break until you get the hydros. That's right. You didn't want to curve the cable that like that, right? I don't think I'd realized too, looking at the bike from a farther angle, that interesting like kind of kick up in the chainstays. You could run a 2x on there if you wanted, couldn't you? That's with how much room you have. A camera. What do you call that part on a bike on the seat stay? Where they, I mean, the chain stay where they, man, I am stupid. Chain stay where they cut it out so you could get the tire clearance, but also the bigger rings. There's a word for that, and I can't think of it. Yoke. The yoke. That's right. I didn't know that until like 3 months ago. Maybe it was Crust or someone I was reading about their yoke. Whoops, wrong. Buttons. Chainstay yoke. Get yoked. All right, let's take a quick break. Quick. Man, I can't even talk. I think I've been staring at editing all day. Like I said, shot a wedding on Friday, and I've just been, if anyone who's ever photographed a wedding, it's just such a volume of photos that I'm just like, I don't know, zoned out all day. Haven't talked much, so. I have this on live chat. Kenny Davis, quit pushing your 2x agenda. I'm gonna make a video about it, but riding SRAM 1x on Otis's bike, I was surprised by some things. Something's good, something's bad. I think it's worth making a whole video about it and then talking about it on the live stream. But yeah, I really was surprised how little I felt like I was missing the top end. But then I'm riding yesterday with Lanky and 5011 and using the top end again. So I'm like, I do like having it, obviously. But yeah, mostly the two hand thing is what I missed. I missed like pulling up to a stop sign or a traffic light, and yeah. And then Shimano just makes I mean, we all know, just a more refined group set. Large. Oh, yoke 'em. I got it. I got your yoke joke now. Huevos. Pudgy, your jokes would be funnier if you didn't have typos in them. Cable routing? Yeah, why couldn't you route? I need a CF. Because a clamp on front derailleur. And yeah, it just depends on if there's anything to put a cable guide underneath the bottom bracket shell, right? That has to be what that's set up for. If not, oh, I don't have it on screen again. Whoops. Why would they make it so big? No one's gonna run what, just a single 50 up there. Then again, you'd still have a 1-to-1 ratio with that cassette you got on there. Yeah, typo. Actually, it can, just not one wants that noise. Unless you really speak like that. I know how derailleur is spelled. That's not the typo. Dylan picked up on the we all know. I need to make a note to change up the stream elements, like even like the follow Tim on Instagram and all that. That was just to like know that that worked. I really want to, and plus add like the maps command that everyone types to get a little maps emojis to pop up. But yeah, using SRAM, and it was force. Yeah, just SRAM just does not have the refinement of a Shimano group set. It's so clear. Mechanically, anyways. I'm sure their electronic stuff seems people like it, but when it comes to mechanical, Shimano just makes a more refined group set. I forgot there was one by. Yeah, I don't understand why anyone just wants the one lever because they go in the same direction. It's just frustrating, but Pudgy, I think I entirely forgot that we made the one by prompt until you typed that in. I probably did that buzzed one night right when we finished up the stream. Rick says I should check out using a workflow photo mechanic for high volume jobs like weddings. I'd have to look into it. A lot of my time is put into going through and just in Bridge starring the photos I want to edit, but then I still got to do the raw conversions, and the lighting, like this was in an old barn that was converted into a space where I'm using my flash, I'm using 2 cameras. I just have to go through and tweak every photo. But yeah, if there is a solution, I would look into it. When you do the 2x command, I think a bunch of angels appear. No. Yeah, that's so funny. Totally forgot that 1x existed. Oh, why can't I type in there? No, I think the conclusion, and like I said, I'm going to make a video, but is that if I came across a bike that, say, had been used or something I wanted, I'm glad that I rode 1x SRAM because I wouldn't not buy it if the deal was good, if it had like 1x SRAM on it. But I know that like Shimano makes better group sets when it comes to mechanical, and that I prefer a 2x. So if money is no object, and I was getting it in my mind too when I talk about possibly someday having a gravel bike with maybe some more clearance or something like that, or even more of a bike packing bike that could fit fenders and wider tires. If money was no object at the point I'm doing this, it's going to be 2x GRX, hands down. But if there was a deal on a 1x SRAM bike after riding 1x SRAM for a couple weeks, I wouldn't not get it if the deal was right. But I still like 2x better, and I still think Shimano makes better group sets. Abort. It's settled 1x is better because it has its own prompt. Oh, I forgot I walked over to the drive-through barefoot that night. All right, yeah, let's take the break. The break. We'll be right back. Oh, also, still not added to this list, but thanks to Alpine Daydream, who has joined as a member as well. I think he's the only one who's not listed on here yet. All right, be back in a second.
I just want to take a quick moment during this break to thank our channel members. Their financial support really does make it possible to do this many live streams and produce this many videos. So thanks a lot. If you're interested in joining, we could drop a link on the screen in the chat right now that you could check out and follow that link and join the channel and get some special perks too. Anyways, thanks to everybody else too for tuning in. I really enjoyed doing this. Check out the merch store and also drop a like on this video. Thanks, every little bit helps. We will be back in a couple minutes.
I wanna tune a boat. Give me tune a boat. I wanna tune a boat. Give me tune a boat.
I turned it off. Yep. Silent but ranty. Yeah. I turned it off when so I've left it on now during the break, so there's a thing for audio, so I have to manually turn it off. I should just turn it off because I used to, like, when something happened I wanted to say something, but yeah, so then I forget to put the slider back up. Whoops, I can't believe I still do that. But when I have a guest and I do it and I took that slider down so we could start talking while that video's on, I'm always like, remind me to turn that back up. So Otis just texted me, actually. He's coming by to get his War Road here in like 5 minutes. I've been trying to get it back to him, but I'm like gone when he's home, and whatever, just keep missing him. Otis just lives right around the corner from me. But yeah, the thing I was saying is like my joke not joke, it's true. SRAM rear derailleurs are so ugly. They are. I mean, they're just so big and gross. But is that really, like, if I'm making a produced video, I'm always going to say ride whatever you like. I was comparing it when I was talking when there was no sound on to like Macs versus PCs. Like, I've used PCs my whole life, and when I get on a Mac, it just frustrates me. It's not really because PCs are better. It's because I'm not used to Macs and I don't know what I'm doing. Like, they frustrate me because I haven't learned them. I've never needed to. You can make the same debate. You can make SRAM, Shimano, what costs what. For the amount of power you could get in a PC, a Mac's going to be way expensive, but it's going to last a lot longer in general terms. I'm sure there's a lot of nuances like that with SRAM and Shimano. But yeah, my preference, having ridden and only one SRAM group set, but Force is their second tier, right? So it'd be equivalent if you had to compare it to Altegra, I believe. Just the way a Shimano derailleur, like, I've only in the highest. Well, I have 9-speed Dura-Ace, but I haven't ridden modern Shimano mechanical at the top end. But even my 105, I just felt like has more refined shifting than SRAM Force does. Yeah, it's easier to tell what gear you're in when you shift through Shimano's group set. That's just my feelings. One of those reps. Oh, mix a lot. I got you. Yeah, just so big. Yeah. Did you lose the audio again? Nah. You don't know Baby Got Back, Rick? Look that up on YouTube. It's a great video. There can't be anyone who thinks SRAM looks better than Shimano, right? I mean, even Shimano doesn't look as good as it used to. 9-speed Shimano are like the best looking group sets. I always say that. So here's the drinking game again. Neo Retro builds 9-speed Shimano is the best group set. 105 up their Dura-Ace because it still has, like, they just look good on vintage bikes with the silver levers, the silver derailleurs, and the way the chain rings are still shaped, and the spiders and all that, compared to the modern ones. Like I said, when I put 11-speed on my Rally, I love that it was just so much more functional. But even with Shimano, the looks of it, I'm like, this just does not look nearly as cool. But SRAM Axis, people say Axis, right? Not AXS. Double as a sidecar. Double as a sidecar. Gotcha. Gotcha. Now I get your joke. Sorry, Pudgy. Otis loves you guys. Yeah, we'll see if Otis pops on for a second. He said he'd be here in 5 minutes. What else did I have on my list to talk about? Otis Roubaix. Oh yeah, we're talking. I was interested if any of you guys. Well, Otis is gonna walk in as soon as I start like some big topic, so it's. I'll start with a small topic. The chat screen overlay, and I can't remember. I've had this on my list to bring up, but I think with guests I haven't done it yet. The chat screen overlay I have. When I first put that up there, it was because when I would watch the replay on my Fire TV, just pull it up to see what everything sounded like, there was no chat overlaid on it. So I was wondering, so for you guys who are watching now live through all the different, I know Pudgy watches on his phone, some people watch on their TV, some people see a lot of laptop pictures. Is the chat overlay totally useless? And so is it just taking up valuable screen real estate that I should just go full screen on? So now let me know, you guys hanging out, if I should just get rid of that chat overlay. It's totally unnecessary. And then if you are watching this in replay, leave a comment under this video if you don't need that, because you need the chat to be able to watch these even in replay, I would think. But it seems like YouTube has added the chat to overlay to anything you want it to be on. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I think I keep forgetting to do that because I think it's something I should probably just get rid of, but let me know. So, Otis is trying to get in and the door's locked. Let me grab that for him real quick. I'm not even going to throw on a video. It's not worth it, but. Hey, what's up, Dimitri? By the way, he popped in to say hi. I saw you commenting on Terry's live Twitch today, but I was working and that's something I have my Fire TV in the chat does not show up. I have to have my phone app open to see that, but. Yeah. Do you want to say hi?
Sure. Wow, it looks beautiful in here.
Oh yeah, I got it all set up.
Oh, classy.
What's up? Got Ryan, Otis Adams. We actually were talking about the Otis Roubaix earlier.
Oh, yeah.
So Jay Dandy's gonna make it. Robert was in here. You know Robert, right? He does some Yeti rides.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. He came. Oh yeah, he came out on the Rats ride when we went to.
Yeah,
camp.
Dwell.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's gonna be super fucked up.
But I was explaining to them that it's still kind of like a no drop ride, but it's like a hill climb challenge ride. So we kind of all cruise around together, and then everyone could go for it on the hills if they want to, right?
Yeah, it's there's a style of like super hard ride that's done like the grinduro, and it's like there's much classier, and you pay like $500 to get it done, but this is free. It's all free, so
Yeah.
come and make a day whatever you want or don't want. But every major hill's a Strava segment, and we'll see who does great and everything like that. I'm really curious because I don't know if anybody will be able to do it fast by the end of this, but
How many feet did you say it ended up to be? 3,000?
we added a couple wrinkles, and I'm also applying through the city to get some secret hills added, which I'm not going to tell anybody about.
Can you step this way? See?
Oh, sorry. Don't want to be Discord blocked.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't even know how many hills are in it. Like maybe 15 of the hardest hills in Akron. But it's gonna, like, with the couple wrinkles, like Ben gave me a couple great options yesterday, and we might be able to get to 3,300 in like 38 miles.
Oh wow. Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah. So you had Maple on there.
Yeah.
I was thinking that's one I might try and get my PR on, because that one is so brutal. Is that the steepest, or is
No, Zonkaland.
Oh yeah,
50% grade for about.
But that's
8
what
feet.
for
Yeah.
real short kick up. Maple.
It almost feels like you're going backwards for a moment.
Maple stays steep for a while.
Yeah, that one's between 20 and 25
20 and 25
for
yeah.
a few hundred yards.
What's the? I'm drawing a Cadillac hill. What is the gradient on Cadillac?
It's around 25.
Oh, okay, so it's similar to Maple.
But
Yeah.
it's not as long.
Yeah. Maple's brutal. When you go down Maple, it feels like you're.
Yeah, you're just like, I hope I have brakes. Yeah, because in my post I was like,
Kenny's telling you need to be closer to the mic.
oh, yeah, like you got to have your brakes in really good order. Like make sure everything's attached. We do the blessing safety package, but it's
I'll be in trouble, Pudgy, because I got those Spire TRPs. He's a Spire Defender.
Defender.
Yeah.
They're perfectly good brakes.
They're not perfectly good brakes.
Sure they are.
It's his old bike, so yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, they're perfectly good enough. But we're gonna put them through their fucking paces
Yeah. Well, I got new pads at least on the rear, so.
every month. No, but yeah, I've been doing like micro versions of this for 10, 12 years, and this is so far beyond anything I've done before. So
Nice.
yeah, it's like Black Fork. The hills might be a smidge harder because of traction, but we'll have more elevation per mile.
Nice.
It's-
Yeah, I was saying you could ride this on a road bike, right? Because we're not really hitting any true gravel on this one.
It is like the idea of Otis Roubaix is it is rideable on a road bike. I would recommend like, a correct Akron road bike, like
Yeah.
32s would be my recommendation as a minimum.
Yeah, I agree.
But I've done every hill on 28s, but it sucked.
Yeah, I was basically saying I'm going to ride my gravel bike just because it's a more comfortable day riding around Akron on a gravel bike.
Yeah.
It's just we don't have road bike roads in Akron.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have, modern road bike roads, like 28,
Yeah.
25.
Yeah, it's not California, Arizona, or Italy.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't do it on my Schwinn Peloton is lighter, but I'm not riding it on 28s. I don't want to be dodging potholes and getting bumped around on the bricks all day long. Yeah.
I mean, if you're not an extremely strong rider, you want at least 1-to-1 gearing or below.
That reminds me. I have a 34, a cassette that Pudgy I bought from him. That's 11 to 34. Probably won't get it on for Sunday, but I'd like to get that on for Nutmeg at least. I would need
link?
I would need a length of my chain too. Would I go from 32 to 34? Or is that
Maybe.
Maybe.
It's only one link different, so you might be close enough that it doesn't matter. But basically, you go big and see like how maxed out your derailleur is. 'Cause
yeah? I'll have to test that.
we usually like if it's close, we cut the chain on the long side, but
I'll look at it tomorrow. I'm coming in at 5 because Yonda he wants to retension my spokes or whatever since he built my wheels. Is that a normal wheel build thing?
Mm-hmm.
I was curious about this because I was talking to Aaron on the phone in my mind. Like I get why cables like stretch, when you set up a new bike, and that's why I have my Barry Hoban up here because the shifting's gone out a little just from, the cable stretching. But why does that happen with wheels? Because you would think like, I just think of spokes as being so much and nipples being so much more.
they're more rigid, yeah. But it's also, I mean, it's an accumulation of metal parts that have never been stressed before.
Oh, it's still bend and flex in there.
Like they're little tiny wires. I mean, you're putting on whatever, you can put 500 watts of power into it at any moment, and
Some of us can.
500. Come on. I was being muted, yeah. So it's just it hasn't been stressed before, so things stretch and seat, and
It just happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Lanky, when we rode yesterday, we rode by East Rim, and he was like, "We could always give that a run." And then I'm like, picturing Yonda telling me, he's like, "Don't do anything super gnarly until I get the chance to retension these." And Lanky even said, he was like, and I'd already told him that Yonda had said that, and I'm like, we should probably skip East Rim on my gravel bike too.
you can do East Rim on anything.
No,
But-
it was just,
but
but
it's-
Yonda had told me, he was
It's
like,
those. It's those. It's
Yeah.
if you try to do the rock garden.
Yeah, and which Lanky was saying, on our gravel bikes we would walk around pretty much. You know, he was running. Plus, it was some of the spots we went were damp, and he had gravel kings, which gravel kings just don't work in like something that's kind of slick. But
Yeah, but nothing really does other than giant knobs. So, and like most giant knobs roll slow, so it's your pick your poison. Like I really like slicks for almost everything, and I just kind of learned like you can't turn too fast, and you have to really like gun it through wet bits, because if you have any sideways motion, like you're almost doing a 180.
Well, I think
it gets wild.
I thought Jan Hein in the All Road Revolution book made a good point that gravel slips on gravel, like, and that's most of what. So slicks will work on dry gravel just as well as anything. We end up because we don't only ride official mountain bike trails. That's why I like the Hurricane Ridge, because they still feel really fast on the road, but they're chunky knobs, and so it's like when we get into the weird stuff we do, I like having the knobs. And I noticed it riding I'm pointing. I always do this. I'm on screen, but I point to bikes that are around. But the War Road, like there were a couple times where something slick and slick tires, you would really benefit from any kind of knob, even like a cyclocross knob, you know. So, yeah, on anything but a road bike, I want some knobs on, just because we ride stupid stuff. But like you said, we're not allowed to ride the mountain bike trails when they're wet. So if you're a mountain biker, super chunky knobs around here don't even really help you out that much, right?
Yeah, a lot of it, like Ben's thing, like he's ridden as many tires as I have, and like a lot of the like gravel tires, like here, because it's so damp, like our routes, you end up on wet grass, and there's very few tires that will give you marginally more grip, other than like a full not like slow ass knob mountain tire. But the Renair's knobs do give you that grip in that moment, and when like, you know, kind of wet mud, they'll give you a little grip, and you know, they're spread enough that they shed the mud and you can keep going and not. But I did oh, where was I?
Yeah, because knobs
I was riding somewhere, in like, even with big Renair's tires, like it was kind of mud that I had a giant mat. It was on a Yeti squad. We got stuck in Honda Hills, and like a couple people fell completely into the puddles, including my father-in-law. He had like mud.
Side.
His entire half of his body was covered in mud. It was awesome. But
yeah, and certain kinds of mud, like, you know, when Ben did Mid-South, large as he's known on here.
Large.
That kind of mud is going to just, fill any tread. But, like, there are certain treads that do hold even, like, mud that those Rene Hertz's and some other good tires will shed. So it just depends on what you ride. Mm-hmm. Oh, my brother's on here. He said, "What happened to my face?" And Jay Dandy, have you I don't know if you've met Jay Dandy. He's out in Kent, but he's going to come out and do it. But he was saying the Grindero reference is a good one. He said it gives clarity.
Yeah, and it's basically, we're just going to, like, I thought about having like a fast group or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that my goal is to just show off how freaking sweet it is to ride in Akron.
Yeah.
Like, we just have a lot of weird stuff, and it's very challenging, and it's rough, and like skinny tires do not apply, and just show up and see what you can do.
Yeah.
And I mean, these hills, like each single hill is an accomplishment, and if you've got the whereabouts and the equipment to do all of them, then God bless you. It's going to be a great day, and then we'll go to Missing Falls and chat about it and have a couple beers and sober up.
Yeah, after party at Kenny Davis's brewery. So, yeah. What did Pudgy say? He said he sold on the Pirelli gravel tires. I've never ridden those or seen them. Do you know the Pirellis?
Yeah, they look really nice.
Pudgy said Tim hates gardens. Time to learn to love them. Well, I just don't have bikes that are.
Yeah.
I don't ride mountain biking that enough to invest in a suspension mountain bike. So for the little bit of that we have around here, I walk around it, or I will. Hampton's totally rideable on my gravel bike, no problem.
Yeah, all the rock gardens we have are unnatural.
Yeah, they
Like
put
they're
them in
designed.
there so you can use your fancy bike on
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Because like the rest of the mountain bike trail, you could ride a road bike on.
Yeah. If I lived in, like I've said this before on the stream, if I lived in Sedona, I would have a full suspension mountain bike.
Yeah.
I don't. I live in Akron, Ohio, or well, Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it was crazy rocky there. It scared the shit out of me. But it's just like if you're not gonna just drive, like on a mountain bike trail, dual suspension mountain bike is the best bike. However, the only option you have here is to drive your dual suspension mountain bike on the 30 to 40 dry, nice days where it's open and rideable, and ride it. And then even then there's puddles that are splattering, all kinds of bullshit into all your nice, each pivot is
Yeah.
$30 to $150, and you just be ready to take that all apart or pay someone, and almost nobody does, and so that's why I ride fat bikes.
Yeah.
And
My brother said we could ride the bricks of Mole Avenue. So that's what we're talking about, Todd. We'll be riding like Maple. And do you have Cadillac Hill on it this year?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Cadillac Hill. So we'll be riding all these crazy steep brick roads of Akron. Euler's a smooth brick climb though. Those bricks are like what?
Euler's not smooth.
compared to
I don't know.
compared to Cadillac Hill, it is.
Oh, Cadillac Hill's all clean now.
Oh, is it?
They totally cleaned it. Like they weed whacked it. Like
maybe-
car. We had to dodge a car coming down it.
Oh, people are driving it again.
Yeah. I thought it was a Cadillac, but it was a whatever the Chevy version of an Escalade is. I was like, we passed a Cadillac on Cadillac yet?
Rick from Philly, he said he likes Otis. He said you're calming.
Yeah, it's the drugs. But,
Oh, Lanky was saying the SS tires don't. The SK are fine. So I think we're talking about shedding mud.
yeah, SS are pretty much slick with a tiny bit of a dirt grip on the side, and they're very good tires. But
I think that's what's on the Riviera, right? I believe so. I have a couple. Well, I have it on one side, not the other.
yeah, this is SK.
That's an SK?
Yeah, the
Okay.
squares. The squares. Those are exceptional gravel tires, but they do. There's not a big enough knob for wet grass, and it can pack mud a little bit. But
I was saying the Gravel Kings, too. Their other thing is you can't ride behind someone on the towpath on Gravel Kings.
oh, because the flat.
They fling up all the stones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of tires do. But I did like I was running giant Schwalbe G1 speeds on my basically like Fargo gunner, and like it was rolled so fast, and I would just run the tire pressure really low, and in the war road with the slicks, like it taught me to like try to keep up with Ben on these wet steep ramps, like keeping your balance between the tires so you have enough weight that you're not just spinning up these hills.
That's always one of my problems. My inclination is to stand when I need to put more power out. And on stuff like Cadillac Hill or some of these hills that could be damp bricks, it's like you need to stay in the saddle and find that right balance. And I don't know where that comes from in me, but it's like, I mean, maybe always riding my mountain bike back in the day with that old kind of geometry, you just want to stand on that. But even the rally makes me feel like standing because it's kind of slack. So I just feel like I need to, I don't know, get forward. I don't know. But then I lose my traction in the back, so I'm always trying to remind myself.
I don't think I really. I mean, unless I have like stupid low gearing, like I don't know, 4 to 6 teeth below 1 to 1 in the back. On those ones, I do stand, but it's like this far above the saddle, and it's like my butt's behind where I would sit. It's awkward, and you got to kind of figure it out. But that's the only way. Like right there, like you can't go back far because then you'll wheelie.
Yeah.
And if you go any stand up, then it's just spin, spin, spin. So it's kind of like a half stand, and you're I don't know, it's weird.
I originally felt like when I first started riding vintage road bikes, I stayed in the saddle more, but at the same time, I was running them with original vintage gearing for a while. So you kind of, if you're climbing a steep hill, you have to stand because there's no way, you need to put your body weight against the climb.
Giving it all you can.
Yeah. I was talking about that earlier with down tube shifting too. Sometimes you're in a gear, and I think I have some of those old fast times because you're afraid to reach down and shift. So you're like, well, if I don't keep pedaling, I'm gonna have to put a foot down, because you're so
kind of like single speeders are exceptional standing climbers.
Yeah, I was riding my single speed today, and even I was trying to have a recovery ride because I rode pretty hard yesterday. But even a couple of just the little hills and the falls through the neighborhoods when you're on the single speed, I'm like, yeah, up there like rocking it. So that I have too tough of a gear on my single speed too. It's a flat. It's only should only be for the flat stuff, but.
Yeah, road bikes won't be fun, but yeah, that's very, very on the nose there.
I was talking to Lanky about that, like, because we went down Fitzwater Road, the abandoned part from the what?
Fitzwater Road.
Yeah. What's that mean?
Just bringing up your own damn road.
Well, it's not named after us.
Yeah.
We're not from here.
Yep.
But it was really rooty, and I got on road down, and he was like, "Oh, nice." And I'm like, I think I have some good bike handling skills because when me and Large were finding all the off-road stuff that we knew about now, the Route 8 gravel, all the industrial gravel stuff, I was riding the Viscount, and he was riding that Fixie. And it was like we were super underbiked, like all the time. And like, yeah, you can ride a road bike on anything. We all got to the point, especially through meeting you, where it's like, why do it though? Like, you can do it, but why do it? Like, there's bikes that are good at this and are still good on the road, Like I've said, the Raleigh is slack and it doesn't feel sprightly or climby. It's just not the way the Raleigh feels. I still have PRs on that bike, on climbs. It's just a feel thing. It's not actually that slow. It just doesn't feel that, it doesn't have that, like the War Road. That bike feels like it wants to take off all the time on the flat, or especially on a climb, just a totally different, that tucking the geometry a little bit, losing a little bit of weight, you get that kind of vibe. So, but yeah, again, why go out there and bounce yourself around on gravel on 28s or 32s when you could, be on tires that make it comfortable,
Yeah. And like, to Lanky's point, like, like, I mean, mountain biking sucks on a road bike. But I'm saying, like, the between the challenging bits, like, it's like beautifully hard packed, well ridden, smooth dirt, and that, like, you could ride whatever. But yeah, mountain biking super sucks on a road bike. Like,
yeah,
why? No.
Yeah, why do it?
Yeah. So, but yeah, well, nobody's selling a lot of mountain bikes these days, Mr. Lanky, because they're spread so thin and there's none to go around. So
oh, yeah.
we do have a few random super awesome mountain bikes, but there's not. Mountain bikes are the hardest bike of all to get at this time. And,
Really, the mountain bikes are.
yeah.
Dylan just built this up.
Mhm.
But I think the fact that he probably built it up might have made what. Oh, wait, I got to put that on screen if I'm going to talk about it. Yeah, he's running a. Wait, he just told
That's
us.
a steel full suspension bike.
What's that?
That's a steel full suspension.
Yeah.
bike.
He's not a weight weenie. Like, he doesn't. I think
Mountain bikes are pretty heavy.
no matter what, especially. Yeah, look at that. That is intense. Those are white cranks, aren't they?
Yeah. I still kind of
Clampers.
like it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, Pudgy was hoping he could snag some Bronco. Did I get the year right? 94 Bronco from Kenny because he's coming out here next Wednesday. But
Ooh, I don't know if they have that.
that's what Kenny said they don't.
They just made a new Imperial IPA that's super smooth.
Oh, Dylan's out. See you, Dylan. Yeah, come up, Dylan. You're welcome to crash too, but I know you got some good camp spots. So anyone,
This is gonna be awesome. It's
Yeah.
just gonna be awesome. And there's like lots of shortcuts, and you can always just Google Maps the brewery if you've had enough.
Yeah,
Like,
we're never getting that far away.
No,
we're
it's-
kind of doing a
like
yeah.
never. I don't think we'll even get 5 miles away from the bike shop at any moment.
nice.
But it's very, very interesting routes and climbs.
Jay Dandy said he might have to take his fenders off for this.
Yeah, basically, don't wear clothes. I mean,
Yeah.
pee a lot.
Cut your drops off.
Be completely dehydrated because water weight,
Yeah,
is a
water weight.
hindrance.
Yeah,
Can't have
pour out
that.
your bottles before you go up the hills.
Cut extra toes off.
Yeah.
Ears or just appendages.
Yeah.
I mean, just don't need that.
If you have a drill and you could drill holes
Yeah.
in different parts of your components in your frame,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is a good option too.
Just everywhere. Just. Yeah, I mean,
I love that-
drops. You should cut the drops off.
Yeah, right underneath the levers. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, you never use that part
excess-
anyways.
excess. No bar tape. All cables should be cut at pinch bolts.
Yeah.
Yeah, take your big chain ring off.
Yeah. I love those British hill climbers. They have their wheel sets. They don't ride. They only ride up the hills on them. They won't descend on the wheel sets. Have you ever watched anything on those
I
guys?
saw like the GCN where the ginger guy made
yeah.
that bike, and it's just like they probably don't even put brakes on some of them.
No, I bet not. Yeah, because they're not riding them anywhere else except up those challenges. What's that one brand? Is it actually called Lightweight? They make all those like drilled out brakes that are, they're just like enough to slow you.
Lightweight was the German carbon wheel company that Lance Armstrong ran. That was like in Jan Ulrich, and like you had to pay like 10 grand cash just to get the wheels.
I think they're still around, and I do think they make other components now that are just like that kind of stuff. They even
Tune is like a super
tune.
crazy fancy German carbon components company.
Like you said, on certain directions at East Rim, he's faster on the gravel bike, just so light and climbs well. But
Yeah, there's a guy from Ben said he works at Century Cycles, but he had a single speed Warbird, like carbon gravel bike, and like I mean I can climb okay, but I'm not a mountain biker. And,
Yeah.
But I mean the speeds he was going up the hills was impressive. Like it was awesome. And I mean, gravel bike tires are as big as mountain bike tires were 15 years ago. So
yeah, true.
it's just what you can handle with the arthritis.
Yeah, yeah. Lanky was saying drillium. That's what they used to call when they drilled out the crank sets and everything like that. Yeah, that was banned for racing for good reason, but people were really
Yeah,
getting.
because you're riding and then you break
Yeah, then you're
handlebars.
those red ones. Those
Yeah.
are the ones that everyone told me I would.
Even
Are the
you
cranks still-
probably have some, and I don't even know if you know it, but like they used to drill the ends of the bars. Like Data did that on a number of their fancy bars. Like they drillium, like whatever the word is, but yeah, like here they
I'll drill out the end of like a drops.
where the bar ends are and
Yeah.
stuff. So, but yeah, this everything. So
Yeah, what are the name of those bars? Do you remember those carbon bars that every single mechanic I ran into warned me about?
they're old EC90 bars.
EC90s, yeah. So what's his name? Your QDP rep.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, oh, I had those. Like, yeah, he was like, you could just feel them flex, and you could. I had them they came on the Peloton.
Mm-hmm.
And then Yonda said, if you keep riding those bars, you're gonna have to get a new smile eventually. And you're like, you should use those as decoration in your house. And like, so finally I was riding out to Kent, like really going for it, and I could just really feel them flex. I'm like, These guys are right. I got to take these off. The other thing were those SLK cranks. Those were garbage too. Garbage carbon from that era. I'm riding my bike along, and all of a sudden my 2 feet are next to each other.
That's not weird. People used to pay for that.
Yeah.
You ever seen power cranks?
Oh, those like.
They're like independently rotating. Like they've got like a something like pawls in it. So
Yeah.
you like train so you keep your feet independently. You have to use all your muscles because like you could do this and stuff.
It's one of those stupid 70s things that some guy did like a math calculation on. And he's like, okay, I'll draw this up into an engineering thing. And it's like, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like bikes aren't, they just work I don't know, there's certain things you can't improve upon.
Well, there is a mystery to the bike and like there, I forget his name, but it's Frank Berto did a bicycling science, bicycling science or science of bicycles, and like there's still like the balancing and the what's the
Centrifugal.
yeah no the what's the thing you spin and it balances and
Oh, yeah. If you spin a wheel.
gyroscope.
Yeah.
Like the gyroscopic effect combined with the steering and like how it like self-rights and stuff, like they can only kind of account for it scientifically.
I watched a YouTube video on that, how they technically don't know why bikes are so stable, like, which is such a weird thing.
Yeah.
To be at this,
And like to some point, like everybody's trying to invent something new. Yeah, gyroscopic.
Gyroscope.
Yeah. So but there is a mystical perfection in the bicycle that
Yeah.
it's kind of why you do it and you feel like you're flying and you're free and stuff. Like it just has something, and it's great.
Pudgy said he could show us a scar on his arm from some EC90s DH bars back in the day. Yeah, so my Peloton, when I bought it, it was built up with all the most dangerous carbon bits. What era would that have been? It was like the Lance era they built it up with, right? It was
Well,
like
Peloton's only about 3 years old. I mean, with the subscription service
Yeah.
and the workouts. So
yeah, the bike's in '86, but someone built it up to be like a lightweight. We even changed out. No, we changed the cranks because I broke the SLK, changed the bars, but it has a carbon seat post. Yeah, it was designed. It's cool. It's a fun, fast bike, but I just don't ride in that position very much anymore.
yeah. So can I have my bike back?
Yeah, it's sitting right there.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, no, that's a fun bike to ride. Yeah, I can't wait to show you this intro I shot of it. I used really cool lights and slow-mo effects, so since I had it for one more day. But
Cool. Yeah.
yeah, that'll be out on Thursday morning.
I rode the Kenmore leg of our ride on my big tired gravel bike, and it was a good bit of work. So I'm gonna take every
Ride
advantage
that.
I've got.
Yeah.
So it was something else.
One thing I was telling Large about, but I want to show you. To get down to Talmadge, we should cut through that little neighborhood instead of sending people down Cuyahoga Street and onto Talmadge. The less time we're on Talmadge, the better. It's so sketchy there. And you could come out at that last traffic light, and you still could get more speed than you could carry into the turn on Euler, even doing that. I'll show it to you on the map tomorrow when I see you.
You're saying just skip the
We could hit,
Talmadge Cuyahoga intersection?
yeah, we could come through a neighborhood and only hit that last steep curve part of Talmadge.
Cut around.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
little cut throughs, but I wouldn't take a group down. I don't even like Cuyahoga, but especially the top part of Talmadge just sucks with the way people drive. I'll show you tomorrow when I see you on the map. But
Okay.
as I said, I'm coming by at 5, so Yonda could say he wants to touch my wheels.
We got to clean up the route quite a bit, but yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Come along.
All right.
Otis Roubaix.
We end every conversation with that handshake.
Wait, where's the rest of my stuff?
Oh, in that box right there.
Jeez, dirty thieving rat.
I took all the stuff off the bike to make it look cooler and be faster. That bell is garbage, by the way.
Yeah, it was a warranty fail. I can't pay for everything. You gotta cut corners. Thanks, Tim.
See ya. Good night, Kenny. Did I say that? See you tomorrow. Large just flips us off. Yeah, let me. I've got those bars we're talking about right here. Gotta grab them. Yeah, so they are like just even picking them up. They are super impressively light. But from what everybody's told me is all these bends that they put into them, which I thought were really like comfortable. I like kind of ergo bars. Like that's, I like having the flat section and the, well, I guess it's only going to be in focus back here apparently. But I really like the feel of these. Like I really liked them when I had them on the bike. But I guess all these bends are super weak. They're actually separate parts. It's not one like carbon layup going all the way through from what I've been told. And I'm trying to think of the name. Otis already left, but the rep who works for QDP now. Yeah, you could even feel the one in here. They just tried to put little inserts in there to make those bends. I guess it was just a really garbage way to build carbon early on. So, yeah. All right, see you, Lanky. Have a good ride. Like you said, he has some Bontrager bars like this that he uses to hold his spare wheels on the wall. Yeah. What are you referencing? Sorry, Pudgy, I missed. That's not true. You left that god awful fork on it. On what? God, these are so light. They feel like holding nothing. But yeah. When 3 bike mechanics tell you you'll die on these, you take them off. You know? I'm going to lower the camera angle here and sit down for a minute when we close this up. Oh, Pudgy, gotcha. I said I took all the ugly parts off the war road, and he said I left that fork on it. That fork grew on me after riding it for a little while. It didn't look as dramatic, but yeah. That's enough. That was a decent enough guess on the angle. Yeah, those bars almost killed you, Pudgy. That's what I kept hearing. Yeah. Yeah, and the cranks are these FSA. I really can't get that camera to focus tonight. Yeah. FSA SLK lights, carbon cranks, hollow carbon cranks. But yeah, I'm riding along one day and then all of a sudden both cranks were in the same position. And I actually stopped at a machine shop. And I can't remember what I did, but I asked them if they had a wrench that I needed, and I was able to tighten it down just enough to soft pedal myself home. But yeah. I've actually seen some people selling those cranks on my Steel's Real group since, and I've warned them. I'm like, don't sell bikes with those. Like, take those off or don't sell those cranks. They're garbage. They're actually total garbage, and I can tell you from personal experience. So. I did see you say, Pudgy, that you could change out my parts if they didn't have the time at Dirty River. I don't like to wait that long. I want test rides and everything in before we get out there. You know what I mean? Oh, I did want to. I started that question about removing the overlaid chat, and then Otis did show up, and I never really got to see all the comments. Well, I'll go back and rewatch it on the overlay. Yeah, so it's not so much like that. Obviously, Pudgy, I trust you completely working on my bike, but if it's all of a sudden I need a longer chain and all that kind of stuff, I'd rather have that all worked out ahead of time. I'm not worried about the 32 on the Otis Roubaix. Some of those climbs, like I said, the Maple Street climb, Cadillac Hill, are super steep and they'll be tough, but that's fine. It's more of doing, if I do the tough route on Nutmeg, 66 miles, single track, that's where that 34 over the 32 will make a bigger difference, Oh, nice. You have a spare 11 speed. Yeah, and I'll be carrying a couple quick links and my chain tool as well for a ride like that. I usually carry it anyways, but it was nice to have a little Otis drop in. I should have had him help me tune up the Barry Hoban sitting on the stand here. I don't want to put someone to work after they've just spent all day working on bikes. I have to up this camber angle a little. It'll drive me crazy. Yeah, it's much better, right? That 11-speed chain you have, I think, is valuable right now too, Pudgy, right? Aren't 11-speed chains in high demand? I think it was Hope Cyclery, the ones that do Camp and Go Slow. He had put a post up about how he spends like Sunday nights browsing the internet and calling and trying to order 11-speed chains because they sell out so fast right now. Oh, yeah, the other thing I did write down is tomorrow, if anyone is cyclocross fans, they're having one of the World Cup races is going to be in Fayetteville, Arkansas. So they're doing 3 World Cup UCI cyclocross races in the U.S. before it heads back to Europe for most of the winter. But the course tomorrow is going to be the same as the World Championship course, where they'll be coming back to the U.S. for the World Championship. So GCN Plus will have it but you have to have a VPN to watch it, I believe. And I think Flow Sports has it in the U.S., so you can watch it on Flow. But yeah, I'm kind of I'm hoping that I'm here just editing photos and I could have that race on in the background because I kind of want to see what the course looks like. I did watch the first round of the World Cup, and the women's race was really good. Marianne Vos, the greatest of all time, ended up winning a week after riding Paris-Roubaix, which is just insane. So Yeah, Pudgy said his shop has been using Amazon for their Shimano chains cassettes. Yeah, that's what I've heard is that you just got to order them where you can get them. Yep. Huh. No, kind of zoning out. I was so like, I was so energetic and misspeaking early, and I've just like completely gotten tired. But Pudgy said he's bringing 2 or 3 11 to 42 Shimano cassettes to sell if any of you need them. I don't think I'd want to go 11 to 42 on my gravel bike right now, personally. I could see why it would come in handy, but I don't want those big of jumps in my gearing because I also still ride the Raleigh as a road bike. And that's why I'm saying I would like what we were talking about earlier when I was talking about if I build up a bike or found another gravel bike, I would want wider clearance, and I probably would go with a, easier gear ratio. But the Raleigh being like everything I ride, I'm pretty happy, even with the 32. But 34 to me would be about perfect. That covers most of what I need to get up, Oh, Aaron could possibly. Well, Aaron's running SRAM now on the crust. Yeah, my derailleur went. When I was running the 9-speed 34, I had to use the those little wolf tooth things that drop your derailleur down. But I was actually able to run a 9-speed rear derailleur over a 34, which was impressive. It felt like it was clicking a little bit, but when I needed it, it was there, So. Oh, her free hub body is Shimano. Gotcha. Oh, yeah, because they were compatible until Axis, right? Or whatever. Yeah. Well, dudes, I think I'm going to call it there. It's almost 11, isn't it? Yeah, because me and Pudgy could chat to each other. Yeah, well, they still are, but there's something that's not compatible, right? The latest, the XD, or didn't SRAM make something that's no longer compatible with Shimano? Or is that just their electronic stuff? Or the stuff with the 10 tooth? Whatever you call the stuff with the 10 tooth is not compatible with Shimano, right? XD, yeah. Shimano spline or the XD spline. That's right. HG Shimano XD SRAM. Yep. So I had planned on streaming Thursday, but I just got a call from a friend today who's on Akron City Council, and I'm going to photograph his fundraiser actually right across the street from the bike shop on Thursday, 4:30 to 6:30. So I'm thinking I'll ride my bike there and probably ride after. So I just probably won't feel like streaming after that because that's going to be a lot of public interaction. So probably next Tuesday, and then me and Pudgy had chatted about we'll be in an Airbnb, me and Pudgy, Aaron, and Large on that Thursday of maybe trying to pull off a stream then. So either way, definitely next Tuesday. Very unlikely Thursday. Not out of the question, but very unlikely. Plus, I wanted to kind of build up some content for when I'm gone. Content, because I'm a content creator. But yeah, because I do want to have some videos to come out at the normal time. So I'm going to try and get those done. So even if I come home on Thursday, I'd probably prefer to work on a couple of the things I have going on. So yeah. End it for tonight. Warward video on Thursday. And live stream on Tuesday. See a black ball. See a pudgy. See a large. Who says Aaron has XT on the Bombora?
Okay, bye.
All right.
Cause
Yeah.
this time.
Fitzwater photo.